scream and shout with all your might.
My entire life, I have only ever been wrong about one thing.
Dig in your heels and hold on tight.
Every time I think you people can't get any fucking stupider, you do.
Either you are wrong or I am right.
Don't forget the ever-present, most likely third possibility. You are wrong, and I am right. The crowd goes wild, as they always do. Women throw their underwear at me. Can you blame me? Oh, hey, look. That one right there looks like your girlfriend. I can tell because of the mole on her ass. Welcome to another edition of Stating the Obvious. Brought to you by the Cynical Libertarian Society. It is... What time is it, Randy? It is 9:42. We're having a Pete's Wicked Strawberry Blonde beer for breakfast. It's always good to have a little liquid cornflakes early in the morning. In the control room, the lovely and adorable Randy. I am, of course, your host, Skippy. This is Stating the Obvious, brought to you by the Cynical Libertarian Society. Today is... What is today's date? I have a hard time keeping up with these kind of things, you know. 20th? It's the 20th already? Ooh, yeah. The 20th of November as we close in on Thanksgiving Day when everybody eats a whole bunch of dead bird. And we have a lot of dead bird leftovers. We've got... I have to bend over. Whew, that was rough. Not spending enough time at the gym. That trip to St. Louis did me in. I recently returned from a business-related trip to St. Louis, Missouri. The city's kind of a hellhole. At least the part of it I saw was. But those are other stories. Yes. Yeah. No, we're not going to talk about Bathroom Girl. Not today. I think I might talk about Bathroom Girl in the future. However, I've got a stack of things here. Well, I have stacks everywhere. I have a stack of miscellaneous things here. This is really interesting. This is from the Weimar Mercury. For those of you who don't know this, I am from the great state of Texas. I grew up in a small town called Weimar. Weimar is a town that was founded by German settlers. Ooh, the opera music got a little loud there. We might need to turn that down. How's that doing, Randy? Okay. We are listening to opera today here in the palatial studios of the Cynical Libertarian Society. Oh, and by the way, the email address, if you want to email Stating the Obvious, is STO. For those of you who voted for John Kerry, STO stands for Stating the Obvious. STO at 204eastsouth.com. How are we doing on feedback? It seems a little icky in my monitor. Is it okay in there? Sure? You wouldn't bullshit me, would you? Yeah, I know I'm your favorite turd. Okay. I'm going to take your word for it. That's why you're the engineer. Yeah, what do I know? Anyways, where was I? Ah, yes. I grew up in a little town called Weimar, Texas. Weimar, Texas has a very traditional population when it comes to certain things. In high school, I decided to let my hair grow out long. For those of you who know me, you know that I currently have long hair. Past my, it's down to my shoulders, a little more. Anyway, when I was in high school, I had fairly long hair. And the concept of a boy having long hair in this part of the country was just unheard of. You were not allowed to do these things. In fact, I almost... The principal was threatening me with not letting me graduate from high school. There would have been a tragedy if I didn't get a haircut. Of course, I knew he was bullshitting because the last thing they wanted was for me to be there in that high school for another year to corrupt even more people. Because people saw me walking around with long hair and they were starting to get ideas that they could do whatever they wanted to do also. Yeah. The principal, in fact, even called my mother and told her that I needed to get a haircut. And my mother told... This is where I get it from. My mother told the principal to go fuck himself. In those exact words. I'm like, yeah, go Mom. Alright. Ooh, and I know I heard a little feedback on that one. Are you... Yeah, tone that down. No, I'm looking at the waveforms. You had to excuse us there, folks. This is the first time we've recorded today. very... Oh, yep. That looks better. I think I can live with that. Where was I? Was I talking about something important? Well, yeah, duh. I'm always talking about something important. Let's try that too. There we go. Anyway, back to the story. Long hair, me, didn't go over well. I heard that after I left, they made a rule about no more long hair on men, boys, whatever you want to call people who have penises in high school. It's hard to think of them as men. This is from a recent edition of the Weimar Mercury, which is the newspaper there. This is the Weimar High School dress code. I want to read some of this to you. It's things like this that make me so fucking happy that I'm done with high school. I think if I would have had to go to high school in the modern age where they have dress codes and ID cards and metal detectors, I think I would go insane. You kids out there right now, going to high school in the year 2005, you have no fucking clue what you missed. When I went to high school, we didn't have all this shit. It was a good time. God, I feel sorry for you guys because you're like totally getting fucked. And you're not getting kissed. Weimar High School dress code. Listen, the district's dress code is established to teach grooming and hygiene. Wait, no, hold on. Alright, this is not even proper English. I'm going to read this. This is what passes for journalism in my hometown. Oh, actually, though, they don't have proper English in the local journalism here either. Let me read this sentence to you, and note that this is not even proper grammar. The district's dress code is established to teach grooming and hygiene, instills discipline, prevent disruption, and minimize safety hazards. It should say instill discipline, not instills. You're switching tenses there. Anyhow, you have to... We live in an age now where schools have to teach students grooming and hygiene. My question is, what exactly is the role of the parents these days? The schools have to teach the kids education. The schools have to teach the kids ethics. The schools have to teach the kids grooming and hygiene. Apparently the schools have to teach the kids not to come to school with a shotgun and kill other people. What exactly? I mean, the parents just spit the babies out, and after that the government takes control. I want to read some of these dress code things about the ruining of high school. I'm serious. This is pathetic. If I had to go to high school in these conditions, I'd have died. Clothing must be neat, clean in appearance, and socially appropriate for the sex of the student. No oversized shirts or pants are allowed. No trench coats are permitted. Socially appropriate for the sex of the student. You know, one of the few things that got me through high school was girls wearing clothing that was not sexually appropriate. Appropriate underclothing must be worn by students. Undergarments shall not be visible. Now I want to know this. If the undergarments aren't visible, how does anybody know that they are appropriate? Is there an underwear check? And who gets to do the underwear check? Can I volunteer to check the underwear of the girls? Yes, we need to examine your panties to make sure they are appropriate. Everybody drop your drawers. Halter tops, see-through blouses or shirts, cut-off clothes, plunging necklines, and tops exposing the midriff / cleavage are unacceptable. Now, first of all, there goes half the wardrobe of half the teenage girls out there. But I mean, come on. I mean, you're in high school. You want to see that? You got to see some cleavage somewhere. For health reasons, all students shall wear shoes. I suppose only in Texas do you have to tell people that. You can't wear your house shoes or your shower shoes, however. Now, here we go. This is the one for me. Hairstyles must be socially acceptable. Hair must be neat, clean, well-groomed, and in general kept in moderation. They made that one just for me. Earrings on male students, this includes spacers, and pierced body parts in other areas on either male or female students are not permitted. I have a hard time arguing with that one, being as I have a low opinion of this whole, look, I'm sticking a piece of metal through my face thing. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Sorry, folks, I just did a beer burp right into the microphone. Deal with it. Fuck you. Shorts or skirts should be Start that again. Shorts or skirts should be no shorter than 1 inch below fingertip length and no shorter than mid-thigh as measured by the student in standing position. No short shorts, no mini skirts. These people are ruining high school. I am so glad that I am not part of high school anymore. I mean, considering the bullshit that's already there, to have to not be able to look at plunging necklines and midriffs and to see girls' underwear. I mean, come on, man. You're in high school. You're 16 years old. Seeing some chick's underwear is like a major score. I can't believe how they're trying to ruin the lives of America. And then these same people wonder why 16-year-old kids, 17-year-old kids come to school with a gun and mow people down. I mean, dude, if I couldn't look at some chick's underwear, I'd fucking kill somebody too. The fuck is wrong with you people? Windows Vista, long time coming. It's a long-awaited look at the Windows Vista, the next generation of Windows operating system. Check this out, guys. Microsoft has done it again. These are some of the things that are new in the long-awaited Windows Vista. Improved graphics like transparent windows. Folder icons display thumbnails of images. An improved sleep state. And a search bar available from nearly every window. Wow. Windows kicks ass. It has transparent windows. Sorry, I couldn't help. I mean, this is what Microsoft considers innovation. What do I have here? Cell ban. The cell phone industry says studies show cell phone use was a factor in less than 1% of all accidents in states that require reporting. California, Florida, Michigan, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee. Bullshit! Bullshit! Yeah, right. Cell phones are a major factor in having automobile accidents, but it's okay. You guys make up your statistics if you want to. I personally am in favor. Well, this is one of those things. I don't think we should ban talking on your cell phone while you're driving your car because that smacks of too much government. I think the obvious solution here is that you should put a chip in your cell phone. That if the cell phone is moving faster than 10 miles an hour, the cell phone shuts off. See, that would solve the problem. You're in your car, you're moving, you're going too fast, the cell phone shuts down. Nobody can talk. That would be my idea. What is this? Here is an article. This is some interesting stupidity. Say person making an argument for having video cameras to survey the public in an attempt to prevent terrorism. He writes, who is this? Jonah Goldberg. He's I don't know, he's an idiot. It doesn't say what he is or who. Why. It's another one of those things where he's writing a column, although there's nothing here to indicate why he's supposed to be an expert other than he's got the dick of somebody in his mouth. Jonah Goldberg writes, quote, opponents say it's an intrusion into privacy. No, it's not. A policeman or anybody else not burdened with a restraining order can watch you in a public area to his or her heart's content. That's why it is called a public area. Another claim is that cameras won't prevent attacks. Well, who says? Doesn't it become slightly more problematic for a terrorist cell to send one of its stooges to his death if his face can be traced back to the mosque where he came from? Isn't it possible that cameras combined with other intelligence may alert authorities that an area is being cased before the actual attack? So the argument here is that putting cameras up in public places is not an intrusion on your privacy because anybody in a public area can watch you. Well, that may be true, but somebody in a public area can't watch you 24 hours a day. Second of all, there's a difference between me looking at you doing something and somebody recording you doing something, because remember, the camera is going to be creating a permanent record. If I watch you do something, I can go tell somebody you did it. But I can't recreate this somehow. If somebody films you via a camera in a public place doing something, this can be duplicated, distributed, digitally modified. I mean, how hard is it to, especially now that cameras are all going digital, let's say somebody doesn't like you, they have a video of you in a public place right before a bomb went off, the video shows you walking through, all they have to do is digitally add something in your hand that looks like a bomb, and now you're a terrorist. Doesn't it become slightly more problematic for a terrorist cell to send one of its stooges to his death if his face can be... No, I don't think it becomes problematic at all. The idea that the stooges who are blowing things up are going to be worried that they're going to be seen on a camera and traced back to where they come from, I don't think enters into their mind. They're going to blow something up, and they're probably going to be dead if they're a suicide bomber. Even if they're not, even if they're not, isn't it possible that cameras combined with other intelligence may alert authorities that an area is being cased before the actual attack? You mean the way we were alerted about the 9/11 attack? Yeah, that worked. But, okay, so the cameras are going to tell authorities that a public place is being cased. So by very virtue of the fact that it's a public place, it's probably going to be full of a lot of people. Second of all, having been in the military and having done casing, to case a joint, you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of time. You don't have to send the same person every time. And more to the point, let's say that Muhammad is casing Coors Field, and he comes there every day from noon to 1 and cases it for a week. Okay, who's sitting around watching these cameras who is going to notice the same guy here and put all of this together? I mean, how good are these cameras? Where are these cameras at? How many of these cameras are there? Are they telling us that these cameras are going to see every single person doing every single thing in every public place? He ends this column with a very interesting little paragraph here. But the most dishonest argument about security cameras, searches, profiling, etc., is that they won't stop terrorism. Well, no one thing will stop terrorism, but to conclude, therefore, that we shouldn't do anything, that's not an argument, it's an excuse. And a bad one. Okay, let's apply Jonah Goldberg's logic here. You may say that putting Jews in concentration camps and gassing them will not stop terrorism. Well, no one thing will stop terrorism, and we shouldn't not do anything. Therefore, we should put Jews in concentration camps and gas them, because that might help stop terrorism. I mean, I have a whole list of things we could do to stop terrorism. We could, for example, kill Jonah Goldberg. That would help stop some terrorism. It would help stop terrorism against my motherfucking freedom. What is this? Oh, this is horseshit. Little artist making her mark. This is from the Colorado, and this is hilarious. Newcomer Marla Olmsted is receiving high praise in some corners of the art world. Critics describe her modernist paintings. I'm going to be able to talk any minute now. I've only had one cup of coffee. I think that's the problem. Critics describe her modernist paintings as laden with emotions. They rave how she makes colors interact with intensity, and her pieces are selling, some for as much as $15,000. For now, though, 4-year-old Marla is more interested in making friends in her pre-K class and playing with her little brother Zane. The shy little blonde has quickly graduated from loose-leaf paper renderings held on the refrigerator with magnets to giant canvases hanging in art galleries, studios, and other people's homes. She builds her paintings in layers. Children don't do that. She starts with big swatches. She starts with big swatches of colors, then adds details and accents onto that. That's what is so impressive and beyond what other children do. It goes on to say that Marley keeps no regular or daily painting schedule. She paints only when she wants, working on some pieces, sometimes over several sessions. It's a 4-year-old kid smearing paint on a canvas. And some of you people out there are paying $15,000 for this shit. Yeah, there's also, what is it, the horse that paints? Or something like that. And then there's a guy who sticks the paint up his ass as an enema and then shits it out on the canvas. People buy that also. You people out there fucking terrify me. Sort of terrifying. What is this bitch's name? Corin, I don't even know how to say that name. Some of you out there have probably heard of this book by now. Smashed, Story of a Drunken Girlhood. This is some little rich white girl who went to college and got drunk and got fucked. And then, after it was over with, she figured out, wow, I just spent my college life being a drunken slut, and I don't have any skills that I can actually use to get through life. So I think I'll write a book about being a drunken slut. She was born into an affluent, trauma-free family with no history of alcoholism. Once I got to college, I was in a really insulated environment where I was overwhelmed with the amount of free time I had, and the easiest way to kill that free time was to go to a liquor store, a party, or a bar. She didn't stop binging even after becoming a victim of acquaintance rape. Okay, acquaintance rape. In other words, she got drunk and fucked somebody, woke up in the morning and regretted it, so she called it rape. This just goes to back up what I say. I mean, working on a college campus, I can tell you these kids have too much free time. An insulated environment with too much free time. That pretty much describes colleges. She has become a strong critic of unity. Yeah, right. A better approach, she believes... What? Oh, okay. A better approach, she believes, are, quote, required college classes where you sit down and analyze alcohol ads and talk about what compels you to drink, unquote. You know what's sad about colleges is the way they spend so much time encouraging these students to sit around and contemplate their navels. And yet, when it's all said and done, they're still just as stupid as they started. I mean, do you really need to sit down and analyze shit like why you drink beer and what alcohol ads are telling you? Are those... I mean, is the analysis of a Budweiser commercial something so complex that you actually have to sit down and devote time to that? On the subject of liquor, what is this? You know, I'm not going to read this. This is just somebody whining about how now that we've outlawed smoking in Fort Collins, we should also outlaw alcohol. Because after all, Prohibition worked really good the first time around. And Prohibition on... Woo! Sorry, folks. My apologies. Normally I would not sneeze on you like that, but boy, that snuck up out of nowhere. I sneezed so hard I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, it was some bitch complaining that now... Oh, Prohibition. Yes, because Prohibition worked so well the first time we did it. And after all, Prohibition is working so well against drugs. And Prohibition works so well against underage drinking. And Prohibition works so well against underage smoking that yes, if we make alcohol illegal, that will solve all of our problems because alcohol will vanish. Air Force coach asked to take down Christian banner from locker room. I can't talk. Air Force Academy. Longtime Air Force football coach Fisher DeBerry hung a Christian banner in the team's locker room a day after the Academy's superintendent announced the school would do more to fight religious intolerance. DeBerry agreed to remove the banner which bore the competitor's creed on Friday after officials said it was inappropriate. Academy spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Fox said Saturday. The creed on the banner includes the lines, "I am a Christian first and last. I am a member of Team Jesus Christ." Team Jesus! What do? We get nailed to a tree. Why? Because we're too stupid to run away. Hey, Jesus! They're coming to kill you. Hey, let's hang out under this tree and wait for them to show up. You know, who the fuck would worship somebody who's too stupid to run away when someone is coming to kill you? Fox said DeBerry put the banner up Wednesday to encourage the team, which had been having one of its worst seasons in recent years. On Tuesday, Academy Superintendent Lieutenant General John W. Rosa announced the school would do more religious tolerance training. Some non-religious cadets reported on a survey that they felt ostracized in a school where 90% of cadets are either Protestants or Catholics. Others reported hearing religious slurs, comments, or jokes. Oh my God, I'm so offended. Somebody made a religious joke. Now, these are the same pussies that are going to get into $3 billion aircrafts and drop bombs on children in foreign countries. Yet, oh my God, they heard a religious joke, and they are offended. And this is one of those things I'm conflicted, because of course, being a former soldier and believing in the importance of a military, I of course support the concept of the military. But I'm sorry, our military forces today are a bunch of goddamn pussies. I'm going to talk about this more later, too, when I get to this article by Kurt about... I'm trying to think if I even want to delve it. Here's a long story short. Well, you know what? No, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that till I get to it. It's just another story of pussies in the military. Students take vow of silence. It seems like I talked about this before, but it's worth talking about again. Silent Solidarity Program brings awareness of oppressed groups around the world. This is from the Collegian, the Colorado State University newspaper. Approximately 650 students accepted a vow of silence Wednesday to represent those in the world whose voices cannot be heard. Those participating in Silent Solidarity could sacrifice their voice for any group or people who are victims of oppression. Basically, the idea is to bring awareness to the fact that there is a lot of oppression out there in the world, said junior business major Daniel Schnurzer, a resident attendant who assisted in the Silent Solidarity sign-ups. Silent Solidarity attempts to bring attention to countless people all over the world who may not have a voice to bring attention to their own oppression. We have people representing underprivileged children, migrant farm workers, the GLBT community, the Lakota Sioux of the Pine Ridge Reservation, women and victims of war. We even have had people represent animals. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. And I bet you I'm going to say this for the rest of my fucking life. Liberalism is all about selfishness. It's all about feeling good. Oh, look at me. I'm shutting up for the women. I'm shutting up for the animals. I'm shutting up for the GLBT community. Oh, I feel so good about myself. I'm not actually doing anything to make the world a better place, because actually doing something would go against my selfish desires. But, oh, I feel so good because I care. Of course, then again, the fact that a bunch of fucking liberals went a whole day without talking, was it a day? It doesn't matter. Even if a fucking liberal goes 5 minutes without talking, that's making the world a better place. Rocky Mountain Collegian, front page above the fold. This is great. The title of this article, and I'm not reading any of it, the title of this article is Prepare to Pull Over. What it is, it's an article about what to do when the police pull you over. It is an article to teach you how to be a good sheep. When the Gestapo comes to your house and knocks on the door and says, "Hi, do you know where any Jews live?" This article will tell you the proper way to turn in the Jews. It's an article telling you how to behave when the police pull you over and violate your civil rights. It's amazing. We can't teach our we can't teach our high school kids how to groom themselves, apparently. We can't teach our college kids how to engage in any type of critical thinking. We can't teach our college kids how to figure out that walking around being quiet doesn't actually change the world. Getting off your ass and doing something changes the world. But we're busy teaching our college kids how to properly be pulled over by the police. Colorado governor vetoes bill. What did he bill? What did he veto? Alright, let me read this one. Republican Governor Bill Owens vetoed a bill Tuesday that would have forced hospitals to tell rape victims about emergency contraception, saying it would have crossed the line by forcing church-backed institutions to violate their own ethics guidelines. This bill would violate fundamental their own ethic guide, like fucking 8-year-old boys. Did I say that? This bill would violate fundamental constitutional principles by forcing an institution to say things to patients that explicitly does not believe to be morally or ethically valid, said Owens, a Roman Catholic who has campaigned on conservative values. Separation of church and state. Oh wait, we don't have that. It's actually not in the Constitution. Yeah, I'm what? No, there was that long... Randy's asking me why the long silence there. I'm having a lot of long... It's because I'm thinking. That's why you wouldn't recognize it, Randy. As a conservative, your thinking is done for you. As a libertarian, I have to think for myself. You know, the question nobody's asking here is, why do governments... What puts governments in a position to tell... Well, wait, now, this would have forced hospitals to tell rape victims. What puts the government in a position to force hospitals to do anything? This is one of those things, while Owens is kind of an idiot here, and while the idea that you can't tell women about their options is lame, I almost have to side with him on... Well, I have to side with him on this only because it's a matter of government shouldn't be forcing hospitals to do anything. It should be up to their choice. Their choice should be up to the... It should be up to their choice. Their choice should be up to the hospitals. I'm working on this whole English language thing. Alright, I am about to get myself in trouble. You see, I promised you all that I was never going to talk about Ward Churchill again. Well, remember, Randy, I'm never wrong. I have never said I never break a promise. I have to read this. This will be the last time I ever talk about Ward Churchill. Clouded picture from Vietnam. U.S. Army records produced in 2004 in response to a request from the organization News from Indian Country, never heard of News from Indian Country, show that Churchill was inducted on November 16, 1966, and trained as a light truck driver and projectionist. What did you do in the Army? Well, I was a light truck driver and a projectionist. Focus! He spent most of a year in Vietnam. Most of a year. You either spent a year or you didn't spend a year. How much of a year is most? Is that 6 months and a day? Is that 11 months and 29 days? He spent most of a year in Vietnam. The stories he has told over the years of his Vietnam service have varied dramatically. On a 1980 resume submitted to the University of Colorado, Churchill wrote that he served as a public information specialist. That's a projectionist. That's what the Army would call a projectionist. That he served as a public information specialist who, quote, wrote and edited the battalion newsletter and wrote news releases, unquote. In a 1987 interview with the Denver Post, and as recently as 2 weeks ago, Churchill described his Vietnam service as more complicated. In a 1987 interview, he said that he had attended paratrooper school, right, and had been assigned as part of an elite long-range reconnaissance patrol to hunt down the enemy. In his light truck with his movie projector, I suppose. His service records do not reflect paratrooper school or training or assignment on reconnaissance. At his recent trial on charges of disrupting Denver's Columbus Day parade, he said he had walked point in a combat unit in Vietnam and was called Chief because of his Indian heritage. Alright, now hold it. Yeah, he's lying like a motherfucker, but they call it Chief. He was called Chief. Now wait, where the fuck are the Indian rights people on this? When football teams and colleges name their teams after Indians, all these little fucking wackos come out of the woodwork and say that's racist, sexist, and homophobic. Now he's going around calling himself Chief. Where the fuck are the Indian right wacko people? Quote, I was on the ground pulling triggers. You can't undo that. And I have an obligation to do what I can. To do what I can by way of compensation. Unquote, Churchill said in a recent interview. Quote, you can say that is the foundational reason that I do most of what I do, unquote. Lieutenant Justin Journet, a spokesman for the Army at Fort Carson, said it is conceivable that a truck driver in Vietnam could have seen combat in some situations, but he said he doubted that a driver would lead point on patrol. Churchill has repeatedly declined to comment on the discrepancies between his printed military record and the descriptions he has given of his service. That is because Churchill is a lying, cocksucking son of a bitch. And as I have said before, and will say again, just to make sure everybody's fucking clear on this, Ward Churchill should be fired, not because of what he wrote about little Heinrichs or Himmlers or whatever the fuck he wrote. That's academic freedom. If you're a college professor and you want to write, the earth is flat and the Jews should be gassed and all black people smell bad and play basketball, you should be allowed to write that. What he should be fired for is being a lying son of a bitch. He was a fucking truck driver and he did not walk point on any combat missions. And again, as somebody who was in the military, shit like him should not be allowed to run around and dishonor the people who fought in Vietnam and got shot and died and got fucked up by it. And that's not a statement of support for the Vietnam War either. What is this? Limit teen drivers passengers. Senate Bill 36, approved by the Senate this week and sent to the House, would prohibit minors who've held their license for less than 6 months from having any passengers under 21 years old. Teen drivers are 4 times more likely than older drivers to be involved in an accident. No shit. My question is, why do we give a driver's license to a 16-year-old kid anyhow? I've always been baffled by that one. Silly laws keep coming. This is from Ed Quinlan. This is out of the Denver Post. This came out not too long after little Samantha Spady drank herself to death, and all of the politicians kicked it into high gear to make laws in order to make themselves look good and get their names in the newspapers. I read from Ed Quinlan's column. When Democrats took over our legislature, I had hopes that our General Assembly would focus on significant matters like higher education and transportation rather than protecting children from displays of racy DVD covers or requiring libraries to filter internet access. But the first spat of proposed laws has not supported these hopes. Well, Ed, that's because you're fucking stupid. See, here we go. This is the problem. Why do you people think the Democrats are going to do all these wonderful fucking things? We had 8 years... what the fuck is wrong with you people? This is what I can't figure out about liberals. Is they can recognize Republicans for the evilness they are, but somehow or another they think that Democrats are these angels who are going to fix it. Right? If we just elected Democrat politicians, why, all of our problems will disappear. If we elect Democrats, why, they will focus on significant matters, like higher education and transportation, rather than the displays of DVD covers, and I was trying to think of the word there, rather than censorship. No, hey, fucking newsflash to all you goddamn liberals out there. Democrats love censorship just as much as Republicans do. They just like to censor different things. The fuck is wrong with you people? Alright, I continue reading. Well, let me paraphrase some of this. They introduced a bill into the legislature that will require the registration of beer kegs, because we all know that's going to solve all of the problems if we register. Democrats, it amazes me how liberals love to register things. Let's register gun owners, let's register doctors, let's register kegs, let's register people, social security numbers. Their answer for everything is to create a fucking government database. So, we talk about how we're going to register kegs, and this is going to reduce the number of people who die, because if your keg is registered, you're not going to drink as much, and you're not going to die. I don't know how that logic works, but it doesn't matter. Let me continue reading. We're talking about here, he's talking about to reach the amount of alcohol in your bloodstream that will kill you. To reach the deadly level, a 150-pound person would have to drink 25 12-ounce servings of mass-market beer in 4 hours. That's about 2.3 gallons, nearly 10 times the capacity of the average human stomach, which is about 1 quart. To be sure, all that beer doesn't stay in your stomach during the binge, but enough does so that by about the 5th beer during the first hour, you're going to have trouble getting it down, and consumption gets even more difficult after that. Thus, it's hard to die of alcohol poisoning with beer. You can, of course, kill yourself or others by driving under the influence, but that's a different matter. Now, notice so far that for a liberal, we're doing really good. He's a liberal, he's stupid, but notice so far he's actually using logic. He's actually thought here. He said, is it possible to drink yourself to death with beer? He continues. By contrast, a quart of 80-proof whiskey has about the same amount of alcohol as those 25 servings of beer, and consuming that quart over 4 hours does not come anywhere close to stretching the stomach's capacity. Now I can back him up on this because I've drank a lot more. I've drank a lot more than a quart of whiskey in 4 hours, buddy. Let me tell you what. I continue reading. From what I've read, distilled spirits, not beer, were the major factors in the 2 alcohol poisoning cases in Colorado last fall, and that fits with the facts of alcohol and human physiology. Thus, registering kegs is not going to prevent such tragedies, and it might even encourage them. The law will discourage... Now, listen to this. This guy's a fucking liberal. I want to take all liberals. I want to put them in concentration camps and kill them because they're dangerous to my freedom and they're stupid. But this fucking stupid cocksucking liberal is actually making an intelligent point. And see, this is what's important about me, okay? Is that I am always right. And if somebody I disagree with is right, I will give them credit. Thus, registering kegs is not going to prevent such tragedies, and it might even encourage them. The law will discourage keg purchases, which means people are more likely to buy distilled spirits. And it's the spirits, not the kegs, that have been lethal. It's true, if someone tells you if you buy a keg of beer, you have to register it, and if somebody gets in trouble at your party, we're going to come hunt you down and put you in prison, then you're just not going to buy a keg of beer. You're going to go buy whiskey, or vodka, or gin. Gin. I could use a bottle of gin right now. I can't believe that was my last beer. I am so pissed. I forgot to go to the liquor store yesterday and get more booze. I do have some rum. Do you have any orange juice in the fridge, Randy? I could really use a rum and OJ. Shit. We need to make... I'll make some orange juice later. We've got some frozen in the freezer. Oh, yeah. By the way, I'd just like to point out another reason. Why don't you abort what you're doing and go make the orange? Bring me a drink. I just thought of something. I was going to say, I haven't made a sexist joke yet. But, Randy. How come there aren't more women skiers? Because there's not a lot of snow between the laundry room and the kitchen. See, at the Bullhorn, journalists over there play with dolls and make them have sex with each other. That's what they do instead of serious news reporting and looking for facts. Here at Stating the Obvious, we make sexist jokes. I make sexist jokes. Randy makes sexist jokes also. You just don't get to hear them because she is not over here just as recklessly. I have to read this. It's been a while since I've done this. This is from Two Becoming One Flesh, Marriage as a Sexual and Economic Union by Alan Carlson. I quote, just as recklessly, the same campaign, this campaign being the campaign for homosexual marriage, just as recklessly, this same campaign will, if successful, also subvert the one trait. The one, like Neo. The one, like Spock, where's my ship? The one trait. Permanent heterosexual pair bonding focused on reproduction and child-rearing, which science points to as unique to human nature and vital to human success, even to human existence on Earth. Yes, I'd forgotten how sweet it is. Yes, according to the Christian right, the one trait, which is unique to human nature and vital to our success, is men and women getting married and making babies. Monogamy, that is the one thing that sets us apart from all the other animals. For the some of you are wondering where the fuck that came from. You have to go back to my long discourse on monogamy, homosexual marriage, and all that other stuff. And here I thought the one thing that set us apart from other animals was men in Seattle getting fucked by horses and dying from ruptured colons. Yeah, see, I'm trying to get all the oldies but goodies in. A lot of inside jokes there. In the... This is great! Wait, I gotta see what I got here. I have to see how I need to organize these last couple of pieces. Oh, I'm dropping things everywhere. Damn it, Randy. It's your fault. Hold on, that's about booze. That's about sexism. They're here. What's that? Oh, New Orleans. I was going to talk about New Orleans. I should save this one. What is this? I don't know what this is. I'll read that and wing it. Okay. How are we on time? 40. Okay. The Rocky Mountain Collegian, the CSU newspaper, has a thing called the Ram Talk. You can call in or email with short little things, and people, as it says here, your confessions, complaints, jokes, thoughts, and shout-outs. One of these says, to the charming gentleman who so eloquently accused all feminists of being ugly, I have just one question. How are you enjoying being single? Because I'd get used to it if I were you. Sincerely, a hot feminist. A hot feminist. Is that like military intelligence? Is that like government efficiency? Is that like a good Budweiser? A hot feminist. I'm dying. Power Hour can equate a trip to the morgue. This is the Our View by the Collegian editorial staff. It's been called many things, but Power Hour is nothing more than irresponsible binge drinking on behalf of participants willing to succumb to peer pressure. Power Hour is the attempt one makes at the stroke of midnight on his or her 21st birthday to consume 21 shots of hard liquor within the 1 or 2 hours the bar remains open. It goes on to talk about how we should make laws against the Power Hour. Should we make laws against running with scissors? Wait, hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, here we go. God, I love being me. Not just because of the way your girlfriend sucks my dick till I come in her face, but just because I am so fucking good. Listen to this. Now, I'd like to point out to you that this editorial is being written by college students, the future of America. And if today's college students are America's future, I submit we should all kill ourselves now. Or kill them, one of the two, because we're in shit creek. Here we have the typical liberal college student. Responsibility, I read now. responsibility also lies on the shoulders of bartenders and liquor store owners. 21 shots shouldn't be served to any one individual within the course of an hour, and although friends may be buying them for the birthday boy or girl, bartenders should still keep their eyes open. Yes, you see, you are not responsible for your own actions. The bartenders and the liquor store owners are the liquor store owners are responsible. Now let's follow this. I will talk real fucking slow for those of you out there who voted for John Kerry. If you go to a bar with your friends and you consume 21 shots of alcohol in 1 hour, according to the liberal intelligentsia opinion of educated college students who are the future of America, liquor store owners are responsible for this. Now, I challenge any one of you dumb fucks out there to explain to me how the owner of a liquor store is responsible for you going into a bar and drinking 21 shots of alcohol. Why stop there? I mean, let's make the manufacturer. That's true. But here's the thing. Alcohol is made out of things like grains and barleys and wheats, right? And also, why don't we make the farmers responsible? And after all, alcohol couldn't be made without things like metal to make the processing equipment, and plastic, and glass. It has to be transported in glass bottles. Why don't we make the manufacturers of the metal parts used in the brewery? Why don't we make them responsible? Why don't we make the people who make the glass responsible? The glass for the bottles. How about this? The bar has electricity in it, right? If the bar didn't have electricity, you wouldn't be able to run the bar. Why don't we hold the power company responsible? If you get drunk and drink 21 shots in an hour, why don't we sue the electric company? Because it's their fault also. The one thing we must absolutely, positively never do in order to be good, filthy, little, stupid, liberal sheep that should be killed is we must never take responsibility for our own actions.